People with disabled kids, what's the most unconventional way you've learned to connect with them? When my son Oliver was born, everything was supposed to be normal. Healthy baby, no complications, perfect little fingers and toes. But by his second birthday, something was clearly wrong. He barely spoke, wouldn't look at us, and had these massive meltdowns over things like the wrong colored cup or wearing socks. The doctors told us Oliver had severe autism, and I felt like my world collapsed. My wife Emma and I tried everything the specialists recommended. Speech therapy, occupational therapy, special diets, sensory toys. We spent thousands on programs that promised breakthroughs. Nothing worked. Oliver lived in his own world, repeating cartoon phrases but never talking to us. Dinner was silent except for his humming. Bedtime meant hours of screaming because his blanket wasn't positioned exactly right. I started working late just to avoid coming home to the chaos. Emma would be crying in the kitchen while Oliver banged his head against the wall upstairs. We were drowning, and our marriage was falling apart. Friends stopped inviting us places because Oliver couldn't handle crowds or noise. Family gatherings became impossible when he'd throw himself on the floor if someone moved his plate. One Thursday night, I came home exhausted after another terrible day at work. Emma had taken Oliver to yet another appointment, and they weren't back yet. I sat at the kitchen table, head in my hands, and started whistling some random tune, just mindless noise to fill the silence. That's when I heard footsteps. Oliver walked into the kitchen, stopped right in front of me, and tilted his head like a confused puppy. He'd never approached me voluntarily before. Then something incredible happened. He started echoing my tune, note for note, in perfect pitch. I nearly fell off my chair. I whistled a different melody, and he copied it immediately. For the first time in 4 years, my son was responding to me. Not to a therapist or a teacher, but to me. I started crying right there at the table while this little boy who never looked at me stood there whistling. When Emma got home, I was still sitting there with Oliver, trading melodies back and forth. She thought I'd lost my mind when I explained what happened. But then Oliver walked over to her and whistled the same tune he'd been sharing with me. Emma's face went white with shock. From that night forward, everything changed. I turned our daily routines into songs. Getting dressed had its own melody, brushing teeth another one. Even walking to the car became a little tune. Oliver would hum along, sometimes adding his own variations that were honestly beautiful. The breakthrough came when I created what I called our I love you whistle. 3 ascending notes, simple but distinct. One day Oliver was having a meltdown because his favorite shirt was in the wash. Nothing was working. He was hitting himself and screaming. I sat on the floor and whistled our special tune. Oliver stopped mid-scream, looked directly at me, and whistled it back. Then he walked over and put his hand on my face. It was the first time he'd ever voluntarily touched me. I whistled it again, and he whistled back, louder this time, like he was shouting it. We sat there on his bedroom floor, having our first real conversation without words. The weird part was how other people reacted. Family members thought we were crazy, whistling instead of talking like normal people. Oliver's teachers didn't understand why he would only respond to me through music. Some of Emma's friends made comments about us enabling his condition instead of forcing him to speak properly. But Oliver was happy for the first time in his life. He'd wake up humming, whistle while playing with his toys, and even created melodies for his stuffed animals. Emma learned our system too, and soon we had whole conversations in whistles. Oliver knew the tune for hungry, tired, want to go outside, and dozens of other things. The most amazing part happened when Oliver was 6. He'd been whistling with me all morning when suddenly he stopped, looked right at me, and said in his tiny voice, "Dad, I love you too." He'd understood our special tune meant I love you the entire time. He just needed to find his own way to say it back. Now Oliver's 8, and he talks more every day.